Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today, especially you, Sean. Sean sent in this video right here. How does the EU work? That's something obviously I desperately need to know. I should probably know by now. But there seems to be an endless number of things about the EU to learn. So CNBC International's got my back, a small and up-and-coming YouTube channel. Check them out, link down below. Zoom out. There we go. Good job, computer. Geez, you know, it's crazy. Sometimes it seems like my computer from like 2008 was just as fast as this one. Anyway, I digress. Let's do it.
You have heard about the European Union.
I've heard about it, yes.
But what about the European Commission?
You can tell this was made for Americans right off the bat. You've heard about the European Union, haven't you? Maybe? Have you heard about it?
Or the European Council? Or what about the European Parliament? Yes, the EU is a very complex system. So complex that even the former US Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, reportedly once asked, "Who do I call if I want to call Europe?"
Sorry, I had to go back. It sounded like she said Harry Kissinger.
State, Henry Kissinger,
Maybe that's just the accent.
reportedly once asked, "Who do I call if I want to call Europe?" As the
That's a fair question.
name suggests, the European Union is a political and economic union of 28 European countries. The genesis of the EU
Well, you can tell by that map this video is 5 years old.
can be traced to the aftermath of the two world wars, which were responsible for millions of deaths and a devastated European economy. In 1958, 6 founding countries,
You know, it's kind of screwed up that in the aftermath of the Second World War, the U.S. economy, they did fantastic.
responsible for millions of deaths and a devastated European economy. In 1958,
Meanwhile, you know, over there in Europe, it was a struggle, huh?
6 founding countries, Belgium, Germany, France, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands, came together to form the European Economic Community. The
Cool. Okay, I did not know those were the original countries.
idea was that with increased economic cooperation, they would be less likely to be drawn into conflict. What started as a purely economic partnership
That's an interesting incentive right there, you know? Okay. So they need economic collaboration to incentivize not going to war with each other. That's like a win-win.
has evolved over the last 60 years into other policy areas too. These include security, climate, and foreign relations. To represent this broader remit, the European Economic Community became the European Union in 1993. So, how does the EU work? Well, one big thing to note is that there is no single leader of the European Union. Instead, its responsibilities are
It's decentralized, like Bitcoin.
spread across leader of the European Union. Instead, its responsibilities are spread across 7 institutions. But we are going to focus on the 3 main ones: the European Commission, the European Parliament, and the Council of the European Union.
But I really do appreciate that. I think that's great. You know, sometimes I think to myself, do countries even need like a president? Does the USA even need a president? I'm kind of over it all. It all feels like a bunch of a song and dance. Like, how about we just have no president? See how it goes.
Let's start with the European Commission. This is the engine room of the
Obviously, I know the EU is not a country.
EU, the executive body that proposes new laws. Every member state has its own commissioner, but they're supposed to be politically independent, bound by a promise to represent the interests of the EU before their home countries. Each commissioner is in charge of a specific
Interesting. I could see how that might be difficult to do. Who appoints these commissioners?
portfolio, similar to a government's cabinet of ministers. This institution is based in the
I'm sorry, I'm just curious what they're eating here. Fruit.
Similar to a government's cabinet of ministers. This institution is based in the Belgian capital, Brussels. Now, the European Parliament. It is based here in Brussels, but also in the French city of Strasbourg, where its members meet 12 times per year. This is where lawmakers
12 times, that's quite a lot.
vote on laws. Presently,
Every month.
it has 751 members of the European Parliament, or MEPs, from 28 member states. However, with the UK's departure from the EU, that number is set to come down to 705. Importantly, this is the only European institution that directly represents EU citizens. Every 5 years, citizens elect their representatives to the European
What year was Brexit? 2020. Okay.
Parliament. Every 5 years, citizens elect their representatives to the European Parliament. Finally, let's look at the Council of the European Union. It's made of ministers from the different EU member states. Ministers with similar roles, whether it be overseeing finance, education, or defense, meet regularly to discuss, amend, and adopt laws. The Council of the European Union, together with the European Parliament, are the main decision-making bodies of the EU. But don't confuse the Council of the European
It's so stupid, but I thought that carpet was like part of her dress at first. Like she had the longest train in history.
But don't confuse the Council of the European Union with the European Council. The leaders of the EU
That is confusing.
also meet in this building for quarterly summits. Discussions here often happen at the highest level, which is why you will see heads of state like the Chancellor of Germany and President
She really sticks out in that color.
of France meeting up in Brussels. Other important European bodies include the European Court of Justice, the Court of Auditors, and the European Central Bank. Based in Luxembourg, the ECJ ensures European law is interpreted and applied in the same way across the EU.
Oh wow, European Court of Justice. So that's like the Supreme Court of the EU. It's in Luxembourg. Fascinating.
Kind of like
So how many justices? I want to know more about that. I mean, I guess I want to know how many justices there are, first of all. One judge per member state, 27. That makes sense. Okay, okay.
the US Supreme Court. Also in Luxembourg is the Court of Auditors. It acts like the Union CFO, responsible for looking after the community budget.
That's an important job.
And then there is the
I think we need that over here in America. The Court of Auditors.
European Central Bank in Frankfurt, which sets monetary policy in the Eurozone. Yes, that's right, the Eurozone, not the EU. This is another important distinction.
You know, I'm familiar with the Eurozone, but I don't know what exactly it is. Like, I know the term, you know? So this is interesting. This will answer a question that I should have just Googled a long time ago.
Currently, only 19 of the 28 EU member states form the Eurozone, while the remaining 9 are still using their own national currencies.
Okay. The Eurozone is just the countries that adopted the euro. Got it.
The EU is a complex political arrangement. Critics say that it will not survive due to the many differences of opinion between and within each country. And with tens of thousands of people across dozens of nationalities working for the EU, its institutions have also been criticized.
You know, that I could imagine that being very difficult, because sometimes it feels like the United States of America is going to fall apart at the seams because of how wildly different some of the states are in opinions and stuff. And the EU has an even more vast array of different cultures and opinions and stuff, so that's pretty it's impressive it's survived this long.
For its bureaucracies and complexities, saying
And it's not going anywhere.
it makes it hard to get things done. At the same time, this arrangement has lasted more than 60 years and has so far achieved its main aim, avoiding war between the neighboring countries.
That is interesting to always go back to that. You know, that's the main goal, just avoid war. That's pretty exciting. I hope it continues to do so. I hope so. The world's getting crazy. But as far as the countries in the EU, I don't think they're going to war at any time soon. So that's pretty awesome. Thank you very much for joining me today, guys. That was really fascinating. Thank you for suggesting that. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope so. Same place. Be there if you want. Goodbye.